Here's me literally getting like excited over buildings. I generally don't know what my life has come to anymore. I'm not even wearing my university's hoodie. Hey guys, it's Gaia, what's up, and welcome back to another video. So as you can see in the title, today's video is going to be a little different to the ones I've done in the past. Unless you've been living under a rock and have pretty much missed all of 2020, you'll know that pretty much every university student now has to access their degree online and have probably not had a proper in-person lecture since last March. I actually think the likelihood of me going back to face-to-face teaching before I graduate in 4 months is probably as likely as that hand-forth Paris council meeting not descending into utter chaos.
Read the standing orders! Read them and understand them!
So since it's been a while since I've actually stepped foot in any of my university buildings, I thought today to make a classic tier ranking video and rank Nottingham Trent buildings. I'm a psychology student, not an architect though, so don't take any of this seriously. This video is just a temporary distraction from all my looming dissertation deadlines. These rankings are all just my personal preference, so if you are an NTU student or have simply ever stepped foot into any of these, let me know down in the comments how you would rank these buildings. Also, if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give this video a like and click that subscribe button if you're new here. Come join me on this slightly chaotic journey of mine. I'm thinking of actually doing a part 2 of this video where I rank Nottingham nightlife, so if you would like to see that video, let me know down in the comments. But other than that, I think we've got some ranking to do. So first off, at the top, I would happily live here, which is basically for any buildings that I literally like love. I'm like, yep, I would happily move into this place, like I would happily call this my home, let's do this. You know, this is for the best of the best, okay? The next tier is that building is a piece of me. So I do actually really love the building, but it's not exactly like God tier. It's not up there with the best, but it still is a bit of me, you know. It still has a place in my heart. The next tier is don't hate but don't love. So I guess you could say this is for buildings that are like meh. I don't actively look forward to going in these buildings, but I guess they're alright. The next tier is I'll go here if I have to. So these are for buildings that like I don't really like, and literally if there is no other study spaces to go in, I will be forced to go in this one. And lastly, we have the electric chair tier, which I think kind of speaks for itself. These are all buildings that I'm not a massive fan of and are very questionable. No explanation, just electric chair. For today's video, I'm not actually going to be ranking like every single NTU building because since there's like 3 or 4 campuses, we're probably going to be here a while. So I've kind of picked the main ones that most people go in or most people will recognise if they go to Nottingham Trent University. So first off is Arkwright building. I literally love this building so much. Like, it was one of the buildings that I saw at my NTU open day nearly 4 years ago, which is actually quite scary to think of. Wow, I feel old. This was one of the buildings that I saw and I was like, yep, okay, I need to go here because this building is just gorgeous, so I've got to put that at the top. I think the outside of Arkwright is probably better than the inside because whenever I've had tutorials in there, like, it's literally been really cold and like, I generally don't think they have a central heating in that place. Other than that, the outside, I just love the whole gothic chic of it. The next building is the Broadcast and Journalism building, which you'll find on City Campus. Okay, so when I was editing, I just realised that I ended up mixing up the Broadcast building for the Bonnington Cafe building. I don't know why I did that, maybe because they're slightly similar with like being orange and stuff, but yeah, I just wanted to point out the Broadcast Journalism building looks like this and the Bonnington building looks like this. I've been at this university for 3 years and I can't believe that I mixed these 2 buildings up. I've never actually been inside this building, but like on the outside it is actually like really nice. Like, it seems actually quite small. You can find it next to Chaucer building. I actually quite like how like modern it is and the different colours. It's not my favourite, but it's alright. So I put it in that building is a piece of me, or don't hate but don't love. I feel like I'll put it in that one. Next one I'm going to do is Boots Library, which is the library for City Campus. This is what it looks like on the outside. I mean, I kind of like it. I kind of dig the whole cylinder shape at the end with the windows. I do quite like it though. I probably would put that also in that building as a piece of me. I don't mind the exterior, you know, and I don't think I hate it enough to put it in don't hate but don't love. Having said that though, the Boots Garden, I feel like I'd have to put that up there with I would happily live there. Honestly, if you guys ever have the chance to go to the Boots Garden, I really do recommend it. Like, fangirl moment over here, but it's such like a nice gorgeous place to study or just chill out. It's actually really hard to get to the Boots Garden, but once you're there it's amazing. Like, oh, I can't even handle. Here's me literally getting like excited over buildings. I generally don't know what my life has come to anymore. The next building is a building on Brackenhurst campus. I don't actually know what this like building is called, apart from the fact that I just call it Brackenhurst building. Like, it's literally the building you think of when you go to Brackenhurst. I've been there a few times and literally like I really do recommend going to see this building if you're there. Like, it's so gorgeous with all like fields and like the wildlife and stuff, so I feel like I'd have to put it up there. Like, it's literally like god tier. I've not been inside it though, so I feel as though that could probably be a deal breaker. I don't know why I'm getting so invested in this. Like, literally, these are just buildings, but yeah. Next one is the Brackenhurst Library. Now, I have some issues with this library, okay? I feel like I need to put it in electric chair. So it's nothing against Brackenhurst itself, but comparing the library on Brackenhurst to the one that's on City Campus, you know, Boots Library, I just feel like it's not the same. Like, Boots Library has like 4 or 5 floors and it's just massive, whereas like this one is actually just 1 floor and it's not really like a nice like exterior. It doesn't really seem like inviting. It literally just looks like a rectangle, and I basically had like a bad experience with this library because basically I went to the Brackenhurst ball in first year. Because the Brackenhurst SU is actually really small, they had to have the ball in like this marquee, and I remember on the night the card machines weren't working at the bar, so if you wanted to pay for a drink you had to go and get some cash out, and like one of the only cash machines working was in the library, which I know is a bit strange. I wouldn't expect to have a cash machine in the library, but here we are. Basically, me and my mate went to the Brack Library to go get some cash out, and basically when we got there I ended up being ID'd by the librarian to use the cash machine. Yeah, which is a bit odd. Like, I never would have thought in my life I'd ever have to show my ID to use a cash machine, but here we are, and because of that experience I'd have to put it in the electric chair. But at least we've put things now in the top and the bottom rank. So moving on, we next have the orangery? Orangey? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm probably looking like a proper idiot right now because I bet it's actually really easy to pronounce. But this place, which is basically right next to the Brack SU, I feel like just, even though the Brack Library let me down a second ago, I feel like I have to put this in that building as a piece of me, because I actually had so many cute photos in that area. I think it's like a study area next to the Brack bar. It was really aesthetic when I went, and it just, I like how like open it feels, like with all the windows, and it's just really like light and breezy, and yeah, I dig it. I wouldn't say it's exactly like top tier, like I would move in there, but it is nice. Okay, so moving on, we have Chaucer. Now, okay, Chaucer, it's a wild one. For anyone who has ever had a lecture in Chaucer Building, you will know exactly what I mean. Going into Chaucer Building is an experience, to say the least. And what I mean by that is, like, you can literally get lost so easily in Chaucer. Like, I've been at NTU for 3 years now, and I still cannot tell my way around there. I would not be able to direct you. Like, if I was showing you around Chaucer, I would not be able to promise you the exit. It is literally a maze of lecture halls and seminar rooms and offices for like any psychology lecturers. Having said that though, it actually has quite a nice interior once you sort of know your way around. Like, if you manage to not get lost, it actually has quite like a nice aesthetic, I guess you could call it, even though the outside literally looks horrible. I'm sorry to whoever designed this building, but like, I don't even know what colour it is. Like, is it brown? Is it purple? Like, it's quite like a murky colour, so I don't know. Even though it isn't the greatest building at NTU, it is still where most of my degree lectures take place, so I feel like it has got almost like a special place in my heart, so I feel like I have to put it in the middle category then. Okay, so next one is Bonnington, which is pretty much the building where any art and design students go. It's actually got its own like really cute cafe, which I really do recommend going in if you have a second during like lectures, or, you know, it's literally a perfect study space. But even though it is like a really cute cafe, I'm not sure if I really like the building. I mean, apart from like the nice flags that are at the front and like the interior of the cafe, the actual kind of building itself seems quite boring, so I feel like I have to put it in don't hate but don't love. So the next building I'm going to be doing is the City SU. Basically, when it comes to the City SU, I'm going to be breaking it up into like smaller areas of the SU, because the City SU is a lot bigger than, say, the Clifton or the Brack SU. So for this particular area of the building is the actual kind of SU area. It's basically where all of the student union like offices were, and the gym is, and some of the study spaces, and like the cafes. So I actually really like the SU. Like I really dig it. Like whoever designed the SU, like kudos to you. The fact that they've been able to do so much with the space, like it's amazing. Like I love the levels and I love how like creative it is. So it's either gonna have to go in that building as a piece of me, or I would happily live here. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of going more towards I would happily live here, but then I'm gonna end up having like so many buildings here and physically I can't live in all of them. So I'm gonna go with I would happily live here because it is actually such a nice area. I love going in the SU. I'm sure there's lots of other people that probably hate the SU and they're probably like, Gaia, what the hell are you on about? But I actually really like the SU. Okay, so the next one is Clifton Library. I don't know if it has like its own proper name, but I would just refer it to Clifton Library. So even though I am based on City Campus, I have been to Clifton Campus like a few times, and I have been in the Clifton Library a few times. Again, sort of like Brack Library, it's just not as great as Boots Library, even though I think it is slightly better than Brack though. I can't put it in electric chair, so I feel like I'd have to put it in I'll go here if I have to. Like I feel like I'd only go to Clifton Library if there were no spaces in the Boots Library. The next one is I can't say this, but Erasmus Darwin building. It's one of the science buildings on Clifton campus, I do believe, and I can actually find that many like photos of this building, so this is as best as we're gonna get. I would feel like I'd probably put it in don't hate but don't love, because I don't really like the buildings, but I think what makes up for it is the fact that it has like a really cute, like I think it's an atom. My GCSE science is really failing me now. But yeah, I think because of that, I actually really like it as like a statue, and I think it really adds to like the area. I can't put it higher because I just feel like the buildings look really bland. But I've not actually been in this building since I'm not a science student, so I can't really comment on the inside. The next building is the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, which is basically like our main gym when you think of all the gyms at NTU. Like we have a gym I think on every campus, but this is like the biggest one. I haven't like ever properly gone in there because if you've been around on my channel for a while, you know that I'm not exactly the sporty type, and the only marathons I do are Netflix marathons, okay? I'm that kind of girl. From what I've seen, the facilities are actually like really good and they are state of the art, so I feel like I can't put it in electric chair, but it does still kind of just, it looks quite bland. Like I feel like it just looks like a typical like sports centre.
Well, no fucking shit.
So I probably should have to put it in don't hate but don't love. Next one is the Life building. I don't know again how to pronounce that one. It's a new building that's recently just been opened on Brackenhurst campus. I think it's got like a few lecture theatres in there and like cafes and stuff, and I've not been to it yet because it literally opened in 2020, and because of the lockdown we're not really allowed to move between campuses. From what I've seen with this photo, this is the first time I've actually seen the Life building, Life building. It's actually really nice. Like I'm actually surprised by how nice it is. Like I'm full on digging the architecture, and like I think that's a bit of water, like that shiny area, and the trees, I actually really like it, so I'm gonna put that with that building as a piece of me. Next building is Mawslay. I can't pronounce that one either. It's probably a good thing I'm not a languages or English student because I cannot pronounce things for I don't actually know what goes on in this building. I just know it's literally like hidden in between like Boots Library and Newton building, and I literally like completely forget it exists half the time, and I feel like I kind of have to put it in electric chair just because, no offense, it's just quite ugly and dull and it's you know. Next building is Newton building, which is, if you are an NTU student you'll know it's like the most famous of the NTU buildings. Like it's the one you think of when you think of Nottingham Trent University, and I feel like this is a really hard one because the inside is actually really nice, but I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan really of the outside. I don't know if it's because of the business school, like the tall bit. I really do like what they do with the glass bit and how they link that to the Arkwright building, because Newton and Arkwright are next to each other. Don't shoot me, but I don't know. Like it's such a nice building if you want to go study in there or you have a lecture in there. I feel like I'm going to put it in don't hate, don't, oh, I don't hate, I don't know. I kind of want to put it in the middle of that building as a piece of me and don't hate but don't love. I feel like I'll have to put it in don't hate but don't love. Next building is the Pavilion. the Pavilion. Yeah, I am so bad at pronouncing these names. Oh my god, I've been here for 3 years and I don't know how to say any of them. This one you can find on Clifton campus, and sort of like Newton, it's the building you think of when you think of Clifton campus. I actually really like it, so I feel like, I'm sorry Newton, but Pavilion is a piece of me. The next one is the Rosalind Franklin building, which I think is also for like sciences and technology. Like the Erasmus one, I've not been in this one either, so I feel like I'd kind of have to put it with I'll go here if I have to. It kind of looks a bit like a leisure centre. So the next picture is basically another part of the City SU, the opposite side of the SU, which is basically where the bar is and like where you go when you think of like the SU as a night out. I feel like I'd have to put it with that building as a piece of me though, because I'm not a massive fan of the nights out at the SU. Like, I feel like all the NTU students are now going to come for me by saying that, but like, I actually don't think Climax is actually that great of a night out, and it's something against Climax and the SU is like an actual night out, but I think sometimes on a Saturday night out it just gets like a bit too crowded. Like, it's literally impossible to get to the bar. I do really like that area of the SU, but sometimes the club nights do let it down a little bit, so I feel like I wouldn't live there. The next building is The Point, which is basically Clifton's SU, and no offense to people who live on Clifton, but I just feel like The Point is like a BTEC version of City SU. Like, if you look at photos of it inside, I just feel like it's just meh. I've been there a few times on like LDOT, which basically is the last day of term, and like I just don't feel like it's as great as the LDOT at City SU. But I feel like I've got to put it in I'll go here if I have to, because I don't think it's like, I don't know, I don't think it's electric chair material. I feel like there's nothing majorly wrong with The Point, but I just feel like it needs a lick of paint. Like, I feel like it needs to be way more colourful. And then last but not least, I'm going to be ranking Waverley Building, which is another building on the City campus. This one has to go in that building as a piece of me, because I actually really like the architecture. Like Arkwright kind of has that like gothic building kind of feel, which I do really like, so for that reason I would have to put it in that building as a piece of me. So there you have it. Those are all my rankings today for all the buildings that you will typically see if you go to Nottingham Trent University. Like I said earlier, there's no seriousness to this video. It's just supposed to be a bit of tongue-in-cheek fun to reminisce my university experience, since I probably won't get to see those university buildings again properly, which is actually really depressing when you come to think of it. I certainly did enjoy ranking this, and I really hope you guys did enjoy this video as well. If you did, like I said before, don't forget to give this video a massive like and comment. Do you think I was being harsh? Also, if you've got this far in the video, don't forget to comment this emoji, just so I know I've got people out there who are actually still here at the end of the video. Also, while you're doing that, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you're new here. But yeah, other than that, I've been Gaia. This has been another chaotic, bit of a weird video of mine, and I can't wait to see you next week for more content. Bye!